She's done next Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so she will help you down here.
Is it, the Lincoln Room?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, we've got it muted now. Okay. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody who's joined us in person. It's nice to see so many people in the audience for all of our special recognition. And I want to recognize that we also have people upstairs waiting to join us shortly. I want to say thank you for everybody who's made it tonight and is joining us in person or on Zoom or watching on YouTube later. We'll go ahead and start with our land acknowledgement. Dr. Sweeting.
We honor the first peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Stillaguamish tribe of Indians. The Stillaguamish people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their ancestors have remained in this territory to this day. The Stillaguamish people continue to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors of fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Stillaguamish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors who believed that everything has a spirit and that they are caretakers of these lands and waters.
Thank you, Dr. Sweeting. Next, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please rise and join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we'll have our roll call attendant. Madam Clerk.
Director Diamond,
Here.
Director Kelly,
Here.
Director Kingman.
Here.
President Levesque,
Here.
Director Knapp,
Here.
Student Advisor Levon, Student Advisor Nichols.
Here.
Superintendent Sweeting.
Here. Thank you for that. Next up is our approval of our regular meeting agenda. Is there any changes that anyone would like to make, or do we have a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda as presented?
Motion to approve meeting agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Knapp to approve the agenda as presented. Madam Clerk.
Director Diamond,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Kingman,
Aye.
President Levesque,
Aye.
Director Knapp.
Aye. Thank you. The agenda is approved. And this brings us to the next part of our meeting, and that is our presentation portion. Our first presentation is our Simply Amazing Student and Staff Recognition for 2024. I'd like to have Dr. Sweeting take it away.
So good evening. This is a special night where we can honor our simply amazing students and staff. And we have, I believe all of our staff and all of our students are simply amazing, but we're going to highlight just a few tonight. And for the students, the school administrators selected a student from their school, and the administrator of the building will tell us why they selected the student. And for staff, we continued what we did last year by opening up nominations by the people that are most impacted by these simply amazing staff, and that's the students. And so we put boxes in the schools where the students could fill out pieces of paper like this and describe the teacher, and it could be a paraeducator, it could be a bus driver, it could be custodian, it could be anyone in the whole district that they feel is simply amazing and has impacted them as a student. So they filled this out, and during this year, we've had 442 nominations by students for staff. And so what we did is we just randomly pulled out, from each school or each site. So we're going to honor those people tonight. But all of the 442 pieces of paper, which are heartwarming to read, they're going to go back to the staff members who they were written about, and they get to have these. And I'll guarantee you they will hang on to them and read them often. They're great. So, and that they'll go out in the next week or so. So staff just be watching for them. So let's see. We've got a sequence, and I'm going to ask the administrators to come up. And I'm going to ask all the staff that are being honored and all of the students to not leave right away, because Mr. Sable over here with the camera, he's going to have us go out in the hall after we've all been honored, you've been honored, and we're going to get a picture. So don't leave. Very important. Okay. So we're going to now hear and celebrate our Simply Amazing staff. And I'd like to start with Carrie Saunders. She is with our Apple ECAP preschool program. And come on up, Carrie. And you might explain how we did that with the preschoolers.
We asked the parents to participate in this for obvious reasons, but they asked feedback from their kiddos, and this is also from their perspective. So, good evening. My name is Carrie Saunders, the director of Apple Preschool, and I'm thrilled to tell you what an amazing teacher Angela Rosensteel is. Angela embodies everything you would want in a preschool teacher. She strives to ensure that there is a positive connection with all of her students and their families. Being with preschoolers is her passion and gives her joy. When they're excited, she is excited. When they're happy, she is thrilled. When they need support, she's there providing support and compassion. When they're sad, she's comforting them. Some of our families have shared that she is sweet with the children. They're so glad she is their child's teacher, that she is kind and thoughtful, and that she is super helpful with all of the preschoolers. Angela loves to do fun things that may create controlled chaos, noise, messes, and most importantly, fun in the learning environment. Her students have ice skated in the classroom using wax paper. They have celebrations when the class collectively learns a skill. She has a pattern party when they're learning their patterns. Although she's always thinking about what will be fun for them, she's purposefully using these fun activities to teach and assess their skills. Angela is a huge blessing to 20 kids in one of our morning classes every year, and she became an even bigger blessing to 20 kids in our afternoon class when a teacher took a leave of absence. To meet all the ECAP requirements for 20 students is a big feat. And so for her to take on 20 more not only shows her dedication to the job, but her strength and compassion for all of Arlington School District's ECAP students. She's a phenomenal team member, an amazing mentor, a remarkable example for her assistant teachers. I could go on and on, but I know there's a time limit. So to summarize, Angela Rosensteel is an extraordinary teacher.
Is she here tonight, Carrie? Oh, yes, and Angela, your picture will be, you know, it's in our hallway and it'll be up there for quite a while. I mean, it'll be up there until we have the next Simply Amazing, which would be, we're doing it once a year, so.
Can I just interject? Angela, I think you and I met on a bus, right?
On a bus to SeaTac.
SeaTac, and you were on the way to see your mother, and I was going back to see my mother. She
Right.
was headed further, you were over the pond, and I was in Pittsburgh, but
Yes.
I had the pleasure of meeting Angela, and it was just fortuitous that we're meeting at the same moment on the bus ride. It was just great to share that, and congratulations. Thank you.
Carrie, there's your certificate, it's right here. On that, right here.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm new at this. Make sure I'm only giving you one. Yeah, there you go. Congratulations.
Okay, next we have, oh, I think you know. I think you've got
I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
actually first, so, but A comes before E, so. Speaking of E, Emmett Pettibone, can you come join me? And let's go. Good evening, I'm Bethany Boyle, principal at Eagle Creek Elementary School, and I am delighted to have two amazing members of our school family here with me tonight. The first is Emmett. I think it is really important to note that he is missing his baseball game to receive this achievement tonight. And because he knew it was a really big deal. Because there are a lot of great kids at Eagle Creek, aren't they? Yeah, there are. But Emmett was selected. He was nominated by his teacher. And she's noted Emmett is a kind and hardworking student. He consistently completes high quality work, is an independent learner, and an active participant in classroom activities. Emmett is an outstanding example of the kind of student who always follows the big five. Emmett is also a member of the Respect Club. He cares about his school as well as his classmates, and he is a simply amazing example of an Eagle Creek student. And its coach is bringing milkshakes tomorrow. I go into practice just for that.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you can stay up with Miss Sandy. You might even be able to help me because I know that Miss Sandy does something really important for you every single morning. What does she do?
Miss Sandy, I think Miss Sandy is simply amazing because every morning when we cross the crosswalk, she greets us with our name and a smile, and she wishes us a good day.
She absolutely does. That's such a great job, Emmett. And it's true. If I took Sandy off of crossing duty, I would probably, somebody would come to the school board and ask for my resignation. People love Miss Sandy. She is an extraordinary paraeducator at Eagle Creek Elementary. With a long history of serving kids, it's no surprise that anyone who knows her, that she is very that she should be receiving this award. Fourth grader Melissa knows why too. She says, I love how she is kind and helpful with kids at recess and in groups. She helps me with my math problems. Math isn't the only area where Sandy supports students as they grow. She also tells them that they matter, that they have boundless possibilities, and that they can make a difference. I have known her for only a year, but she already tells me nice things about myself, said Melissa. And it is important to know that she isn't afraid to be a little goofy or crack jokes to help kids remember her messages. Yet another trait that endears Sandy to her students. Sandy's kindness isn't limited to kids. Her colleagues feel it too. Walk through the staff room during lunch and you will see Sandy surrounded by peers enjoying their brief chance to talk and laugh about the day's foibles. Simply put, they spread cheer, and the quality of their relationships infuses the instruction and love that pervades any and all of Sandy's work. Melissa wrapped it up well, saying, she is so kind, helpful, funny. Miss Sandy, if you were reading this, you are amazing. And Sandy also serves as a 2-hour custodian in our district as well. So she serves our district well.
Thank you.
I see Kit Perry calling that out.
Would you join me? Her mom didn't tell her.
Oh, surprise.
I know. You good? You good? Your mom didn't warn you ahead of time. Sorry about that. Well, Miss Aaliyah, you are the simply amazing student for Camp Prairie Elementary. So this is what her teacher wrote about her. So this year at Camp Prairie Elementary, staff would like to give the Simply Amazing Award to Aaliyah Herman. She's a 4th grader at Camp Prairie Elementary, and she has an amazing work ethic both in the classroom and at home. She always does quality work and really pushes herself to be the best that she can be. Aaliyah is an accomplished artist, willing to try new things. Aaliyah is not only well-rounded academically, but socially. She is always lending a hand to any peer in need. She listens and is an amazing friend who goes the extra mile to make others feel good. Aaliyah truly has a heart of gold, and we're happy to say she wants to be a teacher when she grows up. Keep up the amazing work, Aaliyah. We are so proud of you. You're welcome. Mr. Wan's not here. I thought he was coming, but we'll read a little about him anyway. So Wan's the custodian at Camp Prairie Elementary. And he is always cheerful. You find him in the building. He's cheerful. He is smiling, and he just truly enjoys his interactions with staff and students. And he makes kids feel important. Kids know that he works hard, but here are some of the things that they say about him. He keeps our building clean, so we're not learning in a dirty place. You would probably get distracted if you were in a dirty school. Another 4th grader says, we want him to know that we know he is a hard worker. He works hard to keep the place clean. Whenever I go to lunch, I see food under the tables, but when I go to PE, it looks like a new place. So anybody that knows Juan knows that, yep, he keeps the school clean, but the thing about Juan is his personal interactions with the kids. This is what sets him apart. He talks with kids about their futures, what they might want to do. He encourages them to help their families. And he also teaches them, any of you have been to Camp Prairie to learn some Spanish, because he loves to teach the kids Spanish as he goes. When people walk up to him, he teaches them Spanish words. So the kids say, we've learned hola and como está and bien. And another one of them adds, my whole family came from Mexico, and he's taught me some longer words and colors and numbers and some casual words. My grandma says I'm learning really great Spanish, and she hopes I keep learning more. For these reasons and so many others, Juan is our simply amazing.
Thank you, Colleen. Shereen. Oh, no, Sarah. Sarah, sorry. Sarah Durant, the pioneer.
Good evening. I'm Sarah Durant, principal of Pioneer Elementary, and I am thrilled to be able to honor two of our amazing people at Pioneer. So first off, we have Abigail Dawson. And Abby is simply amazing. She is a leader in all she does. Her teacher says she is a leader. She cares about people around her. She is literally sunshine in the human form. That phrase right there totally describes Abby. Abby is a 4th grade recess helper and a morning greeter. She has a smile that lights up a room and is always kind to everyone. The world could definitely use a few more Abbies. Next, we have Amy LeCoq, who is our registrar. First of all, it is vital to note that Amy was nominated by 11 different students, one of which nominated her 3 different times. So we already know that her role as Pioneer Registrar, she has made a big impact on kids. Every student that nominated her spoke of her kindness, but used different words to mean kind. 4th grader Kyla Imlaw described her as patient. When my siblings and I were late, she came over to check us in. That wasn't her job, but she did it anyway. She is really nice when I go into the nurse's office. She always listens and is very patient. Isabella Rico, a 3rd grader, said that Miss Amy shows kindness by knowing everyone. She knows a lot of students' names and she cares about everybody. Knowing students matters a lot. 4th grader Ezra Amezqua reports, when I come to school every morning, she greets me, tells me to have a good day. She makes my day, every day. I have that feeling that she gives me empathy to have a good day and help others and to help other friends and to be kind. Being known also matters. To Luciela Carrera, who has many examples of Miss Amy's kindness and too many to count. We have a lot in common. She is Mexican, I'm Mexican. She is kind and sweet. She is the only staff member that I've hugged before. She talks to me about her son, and I really appreciate that. She is a Mexican parent, and she teaches her kids the same things my mom is teaching me. And my mom and her get along pretty well. We speak Spanish together. I like her. I thank her because she works hard and helps kids. Amy LeCoq loves Pioneer students, and they love her back. It is impossible to miss how she makes them feel and how they radiate joy under her patience and caring of her interactions with them. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, we have presidents.
All right, we're gonna start with our student, fifth grade, Audrey Robinson. Oh, I'm Shereen Mossberg, the assistant principal at Precedence. Audrey is a fifth grade student. Her teacher, Denise Wilson, is here. Super happy for you. These are some things that we have to say about you, Audrey. Audrey is truly one in a million. It is rare when a student comes along and has the power to influence you as much as you hope to influence them. That's what your teacher has to say about you. From the beginning of the school year, Audrey has shown a dedication to her learning that is unmatched. She is excited to learn new content and is always engaged in her learning. She never backs away from a challenge and pushes herself to always try, no matter how hard something may be. Her positive attitude is contagious, and she makes every effort to help her classmates succeed. Her leadership shines in and outside of the classroom. She is a kind, compassionate, determined, and motivated, and truly is a simply amazing student. Congratulations. So our staff member is Nurse Tanya Kelly. I wish she was here tonight, but we love Nurse Tanya, as we call her. School nurse Tanya Kelly has mastered the art of kid-friendly medical care. She knows that medications and Band-Aids are only part of the services she provides, that kids come to her as full people with friends, questions, families, and a desire for relationships with caring adults. She definitely meets that relationship need. Third grader Weston spends quality time in Nurse Kelly's office, and he both adores and respects her. When I walk in and we joke around, she is really nice. He enjoys her humor and also her dedication. She's one of the best nurses I have had that helps me with my medical stuff. My mom said she spent time over break to research and learn about my condition, and now I really appreciate that. Avery, a second grader and Tanya's very proud daughter, loves how Nurse Tanya's office makes her feel safe. It's just all the colorful things, and she has so much dinosaur stuff. Stop by her office and see her amazing dinosaur collection, dinosaur picture frames that say you are loved and you are smart. She has dinosaur toys, all of which Weston and his friends have named. She even has dinosaur curtains. According to Avery, Nurse Tanya also had dinosaurs all over at her wedding, especially important for the golden girl dinosaur and golden boy dinosaur. But really, it comes down to Nurse Tanya's relationships with kids. Weston put it so well when he said, she knows the kids so well. She knows all the kids that come down so well. It's easier to be understood since she knows us. If I didn't know her that well, I wouldn't be as happy coming to see her. Since so many kids are happy going to see her, even if they are sick or hurt, it's clear why she is simply amazing and how blessed Precedence is to have her as their nurse.
Thank you, Shereen. Eller Middle School. Brooke Howard is here, I think.
Too short for this. I'll hold it like this. So I'd like to introduce our student, Layla Anderson. Layla's trying to come in from the outside, so you can see Layla brought a encore with her today. So Layla is an 8th grader at our school. She exhibits simply amazing traits every day. Layla is kind, respectful, helpful, and shows perseverance and integrity. Layla is truly an exceptional leader and student. Whatever the task, she commits fully, follows it through to completion, and produces excellent work. More importantly, Layla has one of the kindest hearts around. She treats every person with respect, creates space for students who might otherwise struggle to fit in, and shows patience and empathy to her peers. Layla is always there to help wherever needed and is inclusive of all of those around her. Thank you, Layla. And our Simply Amazing staff member is Fran Schmitz. Did you have Layla, Fran? You did not.
Yeah.
So Fran is one of our ELA seventh grade teachers and seventh grade advanced ELA teacher. Fran goes out of her way daily to meet the needs of every student in her class. As one of her students commented, Ms. Schmitz helps me understand ELA, encourages me to push through, and is an awesome teacher. Another student stated, Ms. Schmitz has shown me that I have a passion for writing and influenced me to write poems. Clearly, Ms. Schmitz is in tune to each of her students' needs and works extremely hard to get to know them as a student and as a person. She communicates with families and is always willing to put forth the time and effort to allow every student to be successful. Fran is a tremendous asset to Haller Middle School. Thank you, Fran. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm failing miserably here. I was outside, so I didn't get to see everything. This is- Welcome. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Post Middle School, Leslie Olson. Ms. Bo.
Sorry, I was out in the hall too, so. I'd like to welcome Corin Whitney up to celebrate with our Simply Amazing student. Post is recognizing Corin Whitney for our Simply Amazing student. Corin is a very charismatic young man, along with always showing respect, kindness, and honesty. Every day he makes a point to say good morning and I hope you have a great day. He always has a smile on his face. He has goals and is consistently reaching and exceeding them. He's a straight A student who is eager to learn and strives to be better, all while being very humble about all of his accomplishments. I love to watch him play chess or to teach others if he's not reading his book during lunch. I feel that Corin is beyond deserving of this recognition of being an amazing student and human. It does not go unnoticed here at school. It's hard to put it in words how really great this kid is from his team. Mr. Koenig shared that Corin is respectful, kind to others, and always works hard. He's a model citizen student, and he's always willing to pitch in and help others when needed. Ms. Pennick shared that Corin is polite, friendly, and always willing to help those in need. He works hard and is independent in search for more knowledge. Ms. Jensen shared that Corin is kind-hearted. He's a kind-hearted student, classmate, and peer. He's always striving to do his best at everything and always making an effort to encourage others. He's kind to his teachers, and I couldn't think of a better student to receive a Simply Amazing award. And Mr. Eckley shared that Corin's a great kid. He always gives his best effort in PE. He gets along with others and is always kind. And we are so proud of you. And our Simply Amazing staff is Amy Tuckwell, who couldn't be here tonight. Hopefully she's online. But I want to share that Amy is an amazing post teacher that goes above and beyond for our students and the post community. She was nominated by a student who wrote, "Ms. Tuckwell is the nicest teacher I've ever had. In addition, she's extremely active and supportive for our PTSA, which has grown this year. She's a web advisor and is leading training for all of our web students and planning for all of our web activities. She's been an integral part in planning post-annual STEAM family event and always volunteers to attend student performances or chaperone dances. Mrs. Tuckwell has the biggest heart for all post students. She opens her room before and after school to offer support in math or just to be a safe place to connect with a caring adult for current and former students. She keeps her commitment to high expectations in learning and is the loudest cheerleader and support for everyone. She's a difference maker at Post and is so loved. So we're excited to celebrate her.
Thank you. Marilyn Herman's coming up. We're all doing his school.
All right. Is she here? Yes. Oh, good. I didn't think she came. Oh. Come on up. Yeah, come on, bye. Let's join us.
Okay, Marilyn Herman, Principal, Arlington High School.
Our Simply Amazing student is a senior, 12th grade this year. This is Kendall Simmons, and she's cool. That's it. She told me to say that. Okay, so Kendall is a positive and driven student. She currently is a second-year student in our Snow Isle Tech Skills Center in the fire service program. Cool, right? Yeah. She's a part of our National Honor Society, donates several hours to special education students at Pioneer, and is looking at fire service or education for her future career. Maybe a little bit of both, you know? Her smile brightens any room she walks into, and her hardworking, positive nature changes the school culture around her. During football season, you can always find her cheering in the front row for her Eagle team. She is very well deserving of this award. And this is one of our favorite students at lunch every day. She talks about, so he's like, oh yeah, she got to get it. Yeah. So Kendall's simply amazing. Congratulations. You know, I have a friend. Yeah. Yes, you're supposed to be here. You didn't know you're supposed to be here? No. Oh. You guys, Vi Jackson didn't know she was supposed to be here, so fantastic. Hi, Vi. Kendall, you're double my hero for snake. Thank you. She is our receptionist at Arlington High School, first face you see when you walk in. She has been nominated as the Simply Amazing staff member at Arlington High School. A staff member writes that Vi is absolutely amazing. She is a loving, caring professional. When you talk with Vi, you're the most important person to her at that moment. So true. She loves the students. A student writes, Vi always tries her best to help, is super kind and considerate to whoever she meets. You really feel like she cares. Thank you, Vi, for setting the tone of welcomeness and caring to all who visit Arlington High School. You are simply amazing. For them, scoot them together?
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. Got it, thank you.
But still don't leave because we have a group picture of me.
Yes, yeah, don't leave. Oh, wait, you're gonna be one more picture, so. Oh, okay.
So next we have SBLC, Gary Marsh, principal.
Hello, I'm Carrie Marsh, principal at SDLC. Make sure I'm the right one. I'd like to introduce Madeline Lockard. She has been nominated by her teacher, Mrs. Anderton. Mrs. Anderton says, it's a privilege to honor Madeline Lockard as a simply amazing student. Our school has been enriched with her as a student because she not only takes her learning seriously, but she's also one to push herself and others to go beyond traditional expectations and glean new learnings from every opportunity. Madeline has developed a wonderful knack for asking questions when she doesn't understand a new learning. Instead of hoping she'll get it by osmosis, she asserts herself to pursue learning until she is sure she understands it. Then she goes beyond her initial understanding to dig even deeper and try to see multiple viewpoints. For example, it's a great example. We recently conducted a Socratic seminar to take a position on a topic near and dear to us. They were reading the book Far Side of the Mountain, and the main character's falcon is confiscated by the conservation officer. He's accused of harboring an endangered species. The goal of the seminar was to gather evidence and take a position to answer the question, should Sam go after Frightful and get him back? Madeline initially took a position, but thereafter continued to see both sides of the argument and decided to change her position, which is tough. Animals are very dear to Madeline, and initially, I think she wanted to just have Sam go in and get Frightful. However, after thinking more about it, she concluded that following the law and working with the law would have been a better future outcome for not only Sam, but Frightful as well. Now you can see why she is such an amazing student and why she has been an easy selection for this award. For our staff member, the students nominated Mrs. Brandy Carter. Brandy Carter has made quite a splash at SBLC since she arrived in January. Students, Harper and Mila, describe her as sweet, kind, and funny, and they have a lot of examples to back up their descriptions. Both girls were touched that on her very first day at SBLC, Mrs. Carter taught them about herself, her family, and what she loves. How could we know her if we don't know what she loves? Asked Harper. Both girls were very clear that Mrs. Carter loves her family and her 2 dogs. And please note that the girls love the dogs nearly as much as Mrs. Carter. They also know that she loves them. They say if I'm struggling, she asks me to come to her table and get some help. She tells us we shouldn't stay frustrated for too long. We should ask for help when we need it, Cynthia. Mrs. Carter's obvious love for kids extends beyond the walls of her classroom. Neighboring student Abigail has benefited from Mrs. Carter's kindness too. On her first day, Mrs. Carter not only introduced herself to her own students, but also invited Abigail's entire class in to meet them. I knew she was kind when she did that, smiled Abigail, who was also impressed by Mrs. Carter's dogs. Abigail feels that she and Mrs. Carter have a lot in common, with kindness as a primary trait. Abigail also appreciates the quality of Mrs. Carter's teaching. She can often hear her instruction through the walls and the door if it's open, so she understands how lucky Mrs. Carter's students are to be learning from her. SVLC is grateful to have Mrs. Carter as one of our own because she is an excellent teacher. And if Harper, Mila, and Abigail are to be believed, they are. She is the best teacher.
Thank you. Okay, and we will have Weston High School and Andrea Dixon Mark, the principal, is on Zoom for us.
Hi, good evening. Neither one of our Simply Amazing folks could unfortunately be at the board meeting tonight, but I want to make sure we recognize them. We'll start first with our student, Caitlin Richards. If Weston was presenting a play for the children's novel, The Little Engine That Could, Caitlin Richards would be cast in the lead role. She is our little engine that could. She just keeps plugging along, always making progress, regardless of the ever-changing terrain. Caitlin is the epitome of perseverance and resiliency. Ask any staff member about Caitlin, and they will tell you that she is one of the kindest, most polite, well-mannered students that we have ever had the pleasure of working with at Weston. Ask Mr. Farrell, and he will tell you she is one of the hardest working students he has ever taught. It is a privilege having Caitlin Richards as a student at Weston High School. Caitlin, you are simply amazing. All right, and for our staff member, we are recognizing the one and only Brianna Upthegrove. Students at Weston High School think Registrar Brianna Upthegrove is simply amazing. One student said, "She teaches me not to let the past affect my present. She's always checking up on me and being there whenever I need her. She brightens up people's day, and with her presence is always putting smiles on people's faces." Another student shared, "Every day I come to school, she always has a smile on her face and is always laughing at my jokes." Brianna, along with all the other staff at Weston, are a big part of why I still come to school. Brianna's dedication to our students cannot be overstated. Kids connect with her and actively seek her out. Frankly, she connects with kids, the kids who many struggle to connect with. She's changing lives every day. Brianna is simply amazing.
Thank you, Andrea. So just hearing about all of these simply amazing individuals, our staff, our students, and that I hope that it warms your heart. And it's only the tip, just the tip of how amazing all of our staff and students are and how we are together working hard to make a difference and to care for the students and to cause them to learn academically, but also social emotionally and behaviorally. So thank you everyone for being here. But Mr. Sable, you're gonna have to direct us. This will be kind of a thing, but we're gonna go out in the hall and the recipients and the board are gonna line up near the pictures, I believe.
I think we're near the stairwell, because
Okay.
it worked a little better, but yeah.
Okay.
Where do you want
Okay.
Mix it up.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody that's a student and a staff will come out.
Yeah. Students, the educators, and the board. Did you listen, Charlie? The listening part. We gotta work on the listening.
You tried it again, I missed it. You invited me. Sorry for not having good food now, I know. To take my best. Like, I have no clue what everybody was saying. Now I swear I got it. You don't know what I'm doing, obviously, I didn't know what.
Too many of us?
Every day I feel like that, so that's okay. Eventually,
There's
when
a
I'm
lot
close to retirement, I'll figure it out.
There's a lot of grace.
That's good.
None of us know. We project us to all know what we're doing all the time.
We know one thing, we're about students and their learning.
Yep, that's all.
That's it.
We don't stress about the other stuff.
I love young people, I guess that was something.
Mary's been an absolute star.
Just a thing.
So thanks for sharing. Yes. All right. I want to say thank you to all the people. Are we muted? Are we not muted? Okay, I want to say thank you for everybody that attended our Simply Amazing presentation. Well deserved. So wonderful to hear such kind, heartfelt messages of good work and good students and good staff. We want to invite all of our guests that are in the Lincoln room upstairs to now please come on down and join us in the board room. All the things get all set up.
Make sure gravel goes
I didn't want to come.
Maybe. I see them, I see Lincoln
Like
Room
new
being
students, I just like the
educated. They're not, they're coming on down.
generally like that student.
So,
Like student, I mean, not very long ever registered, like, oh, I know.
that's college. While we wait for our next group to join us,
I believe it's official, depending on what.
I have one really bad dad joke to share.
I think we have.
You don't have to.
Oh, I do now.
Also.
Are you getting ready for my super
Oh,
bad dad
yes.
joke?
Yeah.
And it has to do with tropical vacation places because why didn't the oyster share her fur? Why didn't the oyster share her pearl? Because she was shellfish.
Oh, that's. Oh, my God.
Is that good? That's pretty good. You're welcome. Welcome, come on in, have a seat.
Do I sit down or do I?
Come on up.
It's been a while.
When did you want to get that cut? Ready?
But we're, but.
Oh, no. Give it to your mom right there.
So next up on our agenda is our student presentation. We're gonna welcome Pioneer Elementary to present their health and fitness Fitfolio Friday.
Yes,
To say
we are
thank you for
so
joining us. We've got Sarah Durant, our principal. Would you like to introduce all of your helpers?
Yes, so we have Reese, Ava, Eddie, and Paisley that are gonna help with the demonstration part, and we have Brooke Ford, who is our health and fitness teacher. So we are here to talk about Fitfolio Friday. And Mrs. Ford, would you like to share a little bit of what it is?
Sure. So we thought we would highlight a couple of our favorite activities that we do in the gym. Every quarter with our specialist schedule, there's an extra Friday health and fitness class. Every specialist has an extra class on those Fridays where classes will rotate through, and every quarter that class changes. So on those Fridays in the gym, I call them Fitfolio Fridays, and we have 6 activities on those Fitfolios that the students get to practice on those extra Fridays that we have in the gym. Fitfolios is designed for students to track their progress over 3 years. So we started in 3rd grade. That same exact piece of paper Fitfolio goes with them through 4th grade and 5th grade. So students can track their progress and keep track of their own scores over the course of 3 years. And I call it setting their own personal world records. So the students track their world records, and when they are able to set a new world record for themselves, we celebrate that on their Fitfolios, and we check in every Fitfolio Friday and see if we've set any new world records. The Fitfolio consists of 6 activities. It is cup stacking, striking, jump roping, hula hooping, and throwing and balancing. So our presenters are going to share with you those activities.
Does anyone need a paper?
I did.
Here you go. I got you.
So do I.
Yep, you're starting.
And so we have already passed out to you what the Fitfolio looks like as an example. And so Eddie is going to talk to us about cup stacking.
Cup stacking works on hand-eye coordination and crossing the midline midline of the body while pushing kids to use their right and left hand equally. Great for brain development.
Okay, now he is going to demonstrate. And what was the time?
11:44.
And would anybody like to come on down and give it a try?
No way.
Come on, Nathan.
Come on
down.
Okay.
But that's just like he is.
So you just keep your hand until it shows the green dot.
What has and then I start?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 and then come down?
Then, yeah.
Okay, okay.
No pressure.
Oh, it's so much harder. Oh, no.
Fuck her, the Lord.
What do I do?
That's just 1.1 seconds away from mine.
Really nice.
Of how we go.
All right. Next, we've got striking.
We
Come
never
on.
do the safety stuff.
Come on up and look, you want a paper? Okay, go ahead and tell me about it.
Striking record uses a pickleball, paddle, and a pickleball. By holding the paddle at level, students are developing smaller muscles in their wrists while working on high-hand coordination. Safety. Make sure the safety strap is on prior to starting. She memorized that. New record 6.
Nice job. Would anybody like to come on down and give it a try?
Would you like to try again?
Oh.
You could totally do that.
You got that.
Yeah.
Safety strap,
Safety strap.
No pressure.
The most important thing of it.
right?
Oh.
My goodness.
13, 14, 15.
Wow, that's somebody's been doing.
All right,
I know someone.
next.
That's awesome.
Where is it at? Jump rope. Every few years, Mrs. Ford meets with the middle school physical education teachers to check on any potential deficits pioneer students might have. They have mentioned jump rope has been a challenge for our students who have moved to middle school. Sliding jump rope to the Fitfolio adds another layer of practice for our students. Increasing core strength and hand-eye coordination are the key for this lifelong skill. Are you gonna jump?
And we didn't bring the jump.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't bring all of
Some.
It would have been probably a safety hazard.
Exactly. All right, Reese?
Hula hooping increases.
I think that was.
I tried.
She's good at it.
Hula hooping increases core strength and muscle coordination in the trunk of our body. There's also a rhythmic pattern that is developed during hula hooping that increases success for students.
And we didn't bring.
That also would have been a safety hazard.
All right. Thank you.
Throwing accuracy is a lifelong skill that focuses on opposition, stepping forward with the opposite foot of throwing hand, and eye-hand coordination. Looking at your target while throwing increases accuracy.
Okay, you want to show them how you would do that? We didn't bring the target, so.
But with your opposite foot, you could step back.
Nicely done. Thank you. All right. Ava is going to talk to us about the balance board.
Balance board is a fun challenge that increases core strength and activates proprioceptors in students' muscles, tendons, and joints. Proprioceptors are sensory receptors that react to position and movement to help students recognize where the body is in space.
All right, and there's the balance being right up there for you.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a little balancey here.
What?
They want to do that.
Wait, shall I use this one?
Okay, I want to show you that on. So
When you
start
hang
at the side that's down.
Yeah.
Okay.
No pressure.
It's hard.
You're so tall.
All right, we're gonna move this out of the way for this next part. The impossible.
Secondly, we would like to highlight what we lovingly call the impossible shot, or we could also say the impossible shot. At the end of every class, we sit down together as a class, calm our bodies, and quietly cheer on the 2 students that are selected to try the shot that day. This helps to build a stronger sense of class community. Students are selected based on how well they follow directions and participated in the day's activities, while Ms. Ford also keeps track of who has had the opportunity and give everyone a fair chance at attempting the impossible shot. If a student makes the impossible shot, we cheer wildly. They have their picture taken, which is posted on the Impossible Shot Wall of Fame, which is in the gym, and they get to pick a prize out of Ms. Ford's prize tag.
Are we going to use these, like, actually demonstrate?
All right, so here we have what the impossible shot looks like. So maybe.
How far?
Yeah.
It's from the free throw line.
Time for, are you?
You're a coach or something, right?
You can bounce it or toss it or throw it.
Hey, I've got the whole.
Oh.
Nice try. Would anybody like to come try the impossible shot?
No.
Yes.
Matt
does.
All right, that's
Two.
I've been waiting.
Where have you been my whole life?
Just two, right?
Are you good at throwing?
We'll find out.
I don't know, we'll see. Oh. Nope.
So that is Portfolio Friday.
Nice.
Very nice.
Have you guys made this possible?
Cofield have, but I haven't.
It's hard.
The closest I've ever seen is like, this is like the ball, it like went like that and then it bounced out.
These are the people that have made it this school year.
Nice. Wow, that's a nice record. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you make it? Your pictures up there? Are you just demoing it? Did you?
No, I made it.
Oh.
But I get to practice it
All
every
the time.
single
Yeah.
class period, so I made it a few times.
Yeah, makes sense. That's cool. Very nice.
Does anybody have any questions for our students?
So this is an extra period. I'm a little confused on how this looks at the end of the week or the day. How does, so you're saying it rotates and so it's on Fridays?
So there's 4 specialists, but then, and there's Monday through Thursday, and there's 4 sections per grade level.
Okay.
So Monday through Thursday, each class rotates through those specialists, but that Friday,
Mhm.
those 4 grade level classes,
Mhm.
each quarter
Okay.
rotate to a different specialist on Friday.
Right.
So through
Gotcha.
the end of the school year, everybody's had the equal amount of class time in each specialist class.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Very nice. Sounds like a fun.
That was great.
He's looking at the camera.
Cut that out.
I kind of thought that was like a speaker.
It is
It
everything.
is that too.
It's all in one.
and a camera.
All right.
Okay, I don't have any more questions, so thank you very much.
I wanted to try
Okay.
Yeah. Just kind of like.
Want to say thank you to all the family members that came to support their students and to help us recognize all the good things. Thank you for taking time out of your busy Monday night. And you are welcome to stay, but you don't have to.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our approval of our minutes. We've got our study session and regular meeting minutes for March 25th. And then our special meeting minutes from April 16th. We're gonna do them one at a time. Do we have any changes they would like to make for our study session and regular meeting minutes for March 25th?
No.
Do we have a motion to approve them as presented?
Motion to approve study session and special meeting minutes.
A second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Kelly to approve our study session and regular meeting minutes for March 25th. Director Diamond,
Yay.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Kingman,
Aye.
President Levesque. Aye. Director Knapp.
Aye.
Thank you. Those minutes are approved. Next, we have our special meeting minutes. From April 16th.
Motion to approve those two.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Knapp to approve the special meeting minutes from April 16th as presented. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond,
Yes.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Kingman.
Aye.
President Levesque. Yes. Director Knapp.
Aye.
Thank you. Those minutes are also approved. The next portion of our meeting would be our public comment portion. Is there anybody that has signed up to speak in advance? No. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board this evening? Moving on, our next portion of our meeting is our consent agenda. It has our budget and enrollment reports, our personnel report, payroll report, warrants, an out-of-state travel request, an overnight and out-of-state field trip ×2, and an overnight field trip to Tacoma. Is there anything anyone would like to pull from our consent agenda for further discussion, or do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Knapp and seconded by Director Diamond to approve the consent agenda as presented. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond,
Aye.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Kingman.
Aye.
President Levesque. Aye. Director Knapp. Aye. Thank you. The consent agenda is approved. The next portion of our meeting is our new business portion, and that brings us to our donation from the Arlington Education Foundation, our AEF, and we'd like to welcome Kevin Eck, from the Arlington Education Foundation, and any other foundation members to come on up. And we're gonna be talking about our 2024 spring mini grant.
We are, and I also have Nicole Bullshell. She's a member of our committee. She's gonna hand out the certificates. This is the fun part. All right, well, thank you, as always, for having us here tonight. I am Kevin S. I'm the projects director for the Arlington Education Foundation. So it's my honor tonight, as always, to announce the recipients of the classroom grants. This is for the spring of 2024. So this is the foundation's 13th year awarding classroom mini grants. And in those 13 years, now we've provided over $180,000 in classroom grants. We keep growing. It'll be a big win when we get over 200,000. We're getting close. So this spring, we received 21 applications, and tonight we're going to fully fund 14 of the 21 for a total of $10,334.92 to 14 classroom teachers and or grade teams within the district. So just a little bit about the grant before we hand these out. Applications are distributed to all the teachers in the fall and the spring through the building principal. And included with the application is the scoring criteria for our review and approval process. Each application is reviewed against the following criteria. We look for applications that have 5 elements. So we're looking for clear, standard-based academic goals. We're looking for long-term sustainable benefits, inclusion and equity, grants that have an innovative idea or an element of technology, and then finally and ideally have an opportunity for family involvement. So grants are also structured to limits of $500 for individual classroom submissions or $1,250 for a department or a grade team submission. Here we go. All right, so first up, Darcy Larson and grade team from President's Elementary School This is for a grant called Chain Reaction Machines and STEM Exploration. Come on up, Darcy. And I should say, stick around, please.
Okay.
If you can, don't leave. We want to get a picture when we're done. Yes, please. Okay. Congratulations. Yes. Next, we have Aaron Green and Janelle Sable from SVLC. This is for a grant called Empowering Literacy. Next is a grant for $600. This is to Amy Bryan and Karen Stringer, President's Elementary. This grant is titled Ordinary People Changing the World book set. Should be. All right, next we have a grant for $1,250 to Tammy Duskin and grade team at Howard Middle School. This grant is called Mystery from History Unit Nonfiction Informational Books. Next, we have a $1,250 grant to Carrie Saunders and grade team from the Apple ECAP preschool. Congratulations. Next, we have $493.19. This is to Karen Barzella at Eagle Creek. Her grant is entitled Communication Therapy Materials. $389 to Melissa Donnelly at Camp Prairie. This grant is called a Multi-Tiered Bilingual Language Intervention Curriculum. $820 to Wes Klein and grade team at Eagle Creek Elementary.
Well, thank you.
This one is called Promoting Science, Writing, and Wellness Through Egg Incubation. Yeah. We're going to stay tuned for some feedback on this grant. This will be a good one. Next is $1,000 to Tiffany Gates and grade team at Kent Prairie Elementary School. This grant is entitled Diversifying Classroom Library. $469 to Fran Schmitz, Howard Middle School. This grant is enrichment books for classroom learning. $500 to Bailey Newell, President's Elementary School. This is for the preschool. This grant is titled Sensory Supports. $410, Jennifer Anspot at Eagle Creek. Thank you for taking all those.
Great team.
This grant is entitled Expanding Sentences. $500 to Kip Otterness at Post Middle School. For a music room speaker amplifier. And then finally, last but not least, $460 to Rebecca Connor at Post Middle School. Janelle Sable here? Oh, did I miss you?
No, it was a dual.
Oh, well, we have one more certificate. Empowering literacy. Thank you. Sorry if I skipped you.
No, you did it. It was a dual.
Okay, got it. No problem. Okay, well, with that, as always, thank you. We always appreciate the opportunity to present these and
Thank
turn this
you.
over to you.
Thank you very much for presenting all of us, and thank you for all the work that you do to fundraise and help build our school community. Appreciate you.
Of course. Thank you.
We can take a picture. Can we just vote on
We
it
have
really
to-
fast?
Oh, sure.
Just for fun. It's an action item and we don't want to forget or anything.
It's important to me. I
It's
can't wait
important.
until you vote on it.
Because we can't actually give you money unless we approve money. Okay, so this is an action item. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the donation of $10,000 $334.92 from the Arlington Education Foundation.
The motion, we approve the donation from Arlington Education Foundation, the 2024 mini grants.
Second. Thank you, Director Knapp and Director Kelly for motioning and seconding the board accepts the donation of $10,334.92 from the Arlington Education Foundation. Director Diamond.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Kingman.
Aye.
President Novak. Aye. Director. Aye. Thank you. The donation is accepted. Now we're gonna gather for a picture.
You like us in here?
Yeah, so all the recipients could come up with your
We just
certificates.
stand here.
And then
We sit
if the
here.
board members could stand up,
We stand.
we'll have kind of a. First thing you see, you'll see all your faces, no hiding in the back.
We like the back.
Yeah, let me see your certificates if you could, that'd be great. Sure, excellent, you're perfect. Great, okay. And everyone look right here. Okay, right here, nice big smile, no blinking, hold it. We're happy, got some crayons, hold it one more, perfect, thank you so much.
I have it in my. Yeah, I'm not gonna get over
Thank you for all being here tonight and thank you for all the work that you do. We appreciate you. Next up on our agenda is the financial highlight of our current budget. And I think Gina is on Zoom. Nope. Oh, you're just hiding. Not on Zoom, in real life, in person. In the. Hi, Mara. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So good evening. I'm here to present to you the financial highlights of the current budget for the month of March, because that is the year, not the year, the month that we just recently closed out, and you have the full detailed report in your consent agenda for all funds and all the information for the month, budget status wise. So the positives, the financial positives for our district, we always like to start with those. And I appreciate the board's patience because we reiterate this every month, but I think it's important to remember these positives. And for any members of our public who are also listening and watching, these are kind of the main points. So we receive our 4-year educational programs and operations levy, and we have a capital levy as well. Both of those are in their 4th year. They expire at the end of this year. And thankfully, our voters, Strength of Community approved renewal of both of those levies. So that is an excellent financial positive and speaks to our community. Our enrollment is increasing. It's over 100 more students than budgeted this year. We are not at pre-pandemic levels yet, still, but this is a positive that it is increasing. We received transportation safety net funding this year. Those were unplanned for revenues, and thanks for the work that the transportation department staff did in collaboration with the accounting staff. They jumped through all the hoops and prepared all the information, and we were able to qualify for an additional $64,000 in safety net funding. And basically what that means is it's helping to cover the excess cost that is involved with transporting special passengers. And some of that is students that are experiencing homelessness. So another safety net positive, and Dave likely will report more on this, Director of Special Services or Special Education Services. We have a safety net application that we've put out there for more than $1 million. So we will find out in the summer whether we receive all of that, or if there will be any adjustment that they do in the review process at the state level. But that is a magnanimous amount, and we are hopeful that we receive every bit of that, because those the costs represent high needs, unique needs of students where we had to pay in large amounts. So for their needed services. And then last, we have a slight funding increase that was passed by the legislature in the session that they just got out of in March. That is retroactive, so it will impact us this year. It's not a large amount. We will receive it in the April apportionment, so I'll report back to you on what that amount actually was. I've calculated it roughly. I can't remember what the amount is, but it's not a huge amount, but every little bit helps. And I'm thinking under 500,000, just to give you a range. Every little bit helps, and it will help our fund balance. So on to the next slide for the financial challenges. And again, thank you for your patience, because you have been living this alongside me each month when we talk about this. So our challenges are great. We have state funding. They're not great, but they're large. We have state funding gaps, especially in special education. Food and nutrition services is starting to bump up in that area too, because of the change in the model of how they are doing the funding and the different programs provisions, where we have free meals for each student in some of the schools, which is great, but we'll still be needing to adjust to those. And the costs of goods and services and labor costs are increasing and not keeping pace with the revenue sources there. And our bus services as well, that area is a hard one to keep where the state is fully funded. So we've made budget reductions made for 23-24. We're still working to recover from the declining fund balance, and that makes it hard. It puts stress on the organization when we're living in that place of having to keep everything contained and not being able to allow additional spending. The impacts of the pandemic, they're still evident. Kids are still, not having forgotten the years that they went through. And then the planning that we're doing for 2.8 million in a combination of savings and increased revenues and reductions. We're living in that right now because we're planning for it for 24. And then I'll just keep mentioning, because it's still a need and it impacts us. Our bond that was put out to rebuild post middle school didn't pass with the required majority, the 60%. You all know that. But that can put stress on our general fund should additional higher maintenance needs be needed for that building or an emergency. And so that next slide, I've got our fund balance for the month of, I always include this and keep it in here. It's the conditions around fund balance trend. And I think it's important for us to continue to keep these points in the forefront of our mind as to how we got here, because we've known about our fund balance and we're working on rebuilding it. But the longer we go, it's easier to forget, why did what brought us here? So all of these conditions are still listed in this presentation. We can continue to touch on those at any time. And then we'll go look at our fund balance picture. We squeaked by in the month of March. We have a fund balance positive of 64,000. So we did not need to request the loan from capital projects. And I'm very glad about that, as I'm sure you are as well. We will not be able to avoid the month of June. You see that dip down there where we will need to request a loan for capital projects for that month. Yes, and see question.
I have a question. What about May? Are we concerned at all about the dip that we usually have down to May? Usually May goes down a little bit. I know in 21 and 20,
May
we
will
had
still be pretty close
ESSER
too.
fund.
Yeah, we'll be
June
watching.
looks bad.
Yeah, June is definitely.
May looks iffy.
Right, but we'll be watching May as well, so it'll be close.
And then July and August still look kind of like
Upward trend.
like upward, but still maybe not.
That's how low we go in June.
Depends on how low we go.
Yeah.
I'm worried about May, June, July, and August.
Yeah, me too,
Okay.
every week.
Yeah.
But we're measuring it and we've been, refining the processes, dialing them in to look and get the timing right so that we are not delayed in any of our billings where we are to receive funds. So we have really made sure that we've stepped that up and followed up, like, for example, with the county, if, there was anything that they were needing to pay us for, we invoice them. We do that on a routine basis, but we are making sure that we get it in under their timeline so that there's no delay. Because in the way that they issue checks to us as well. That's just one example. We've looked at all of that to make sure that we are right on it. And we'll continue to do that. So if there's a need, we'll see where we go with April because April is the first collection where our, it's the new, it's a higher levy amount than the year before. It's not a bigger, it's not the new levy, but it's the last year of the old levy. And it's a little bit higher than the year before. So April, we may be a little higher, maybe a little, it may still be just enough and we're looking, but I will come in advance if there is a need to do the loan any earlier than June. And if there were to be, there is an option to also get an apportionment advance. But there's a little less flexibility around that. And so we can talk some more about that, but we have options. So there you go. And the next slide, I just already talked through pretty much. And that is the end of the financial highlights of the current budget.
Thank you. Any questions?
You said you got the safety net from for transportation for the homeless students?
Yes.
Is that not covered under McKinney-Vento?
No, it is not.
Okay.
There is a piece of it that can be, but the funds from McKinney-Vento are not anywhere near.
Okay.
And most of it is still borne through the transportation program rather than passing it over to the funds that were McKinney-Vento. There are grant funds for McKinney-Vento. So limited, it would consume it.
That's fine.
We have a population, percentage of the population that's in that category, and what's that responsibility on the school district?
Yeah, because by law, we have to take care of them, but we don't have to take care of the transportation. Another gap.
Unfunded.
Huh?
Unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
Great question. Any more questions?
For June, do we need to do another, resolution?
We would, yes,
Okay.
we would need to approve another resolution in advance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. But don't go away. Stay right there. If we get to now talk about the 24-25 budget development.
Yes. Thank you. So on to that, and thanks you guys for sharing the screen today for me. My computer is dying. So we always start this conversation highlighting again that we are vision aligned budgeting. What is the primary mission of our school district? This is not just about numbers. We always keep that in the forefront of our conversations, and our board is especially loyal to keeping those, the strategic plan, goal 3, resource stewardship, and then next slide, the values that guide budget decisions. And these are in board policy as well, the vision aligned budgeting. And it's a pretty comprehensive list. It shows what is to be true, that there are lots of different needs that have to be considered as we go about budgeting. And I'll highlight also, as I always do, that we are investing in appropriate internal controls of financial operations and maintaining compliance with board policy for minimum fund balance, while also allowing for flexibility in times of emergency. So as we know, we did a dip into fund balance reserves. And, we did that in response to being on the heels of the pandemic. And now we are continuing to work our way back out of that to a healthier area, place for fund balance. Next slide is the official budget document. And these terms we'll want to imprint for you that this is what the state calls our budget. OSPI has all school districts submit their budgets in a certain format, and it's a required format. It's called the Form F-195. And along with that, there's a 4-year budget and enrollment forecast, and it's called the F-195F. They get very clever in their naming. I'll be bringing drafts to the board for review and consideration for the July 8th board meeting, so you'll get to see the actual format of the F-195 at that time. It's a very detailed, comprehensive document, so I will also be presenting a summary showing some comparatives of what the main numbers are and talking about some of the fluctuations. And we are required by law, actually, to have a draft posted to the district's website on July 10th. And so we will have that, and it will be submitted also for review by the Northwest ESD. And they serve in partnership with us to be looking at the information in there. They do some of their own analytics, they ask questions. And then we'll be bringing that budget back after making any kind of revisions or fine tuning, continue to analyze data and look for omissions, inaccuracies, areas where we need to adjust. And then the budget will be heard in a public hearing, public comment, and proposed for adoption for the August 12th board meeting. This is the general timeline that we have followed, and the budget by law must be adopted no later than August 31st, 2024. Next slide. So, but we are planning underway. We are not just planning, we are also calculating, analyzing. The legislative outcomes was a first major piece of the puzzle that we needed to know. And they got out in March, and we know the implicit price deflator is set at 3.7. They made some prototypical school model allocation formula enhancements in a couple of categories. And the special education enrollment cap has been increased from 15% to 16%. So there are some small helps in those changes. Our revenue estimates, the OSPI puts out a tool, and they incorporate all of the changes that were done by the legislature. And regionalization is decreasing for the classified staff category. And this was part of the step down that we've known would be coming in regionalization, and specifically for the classified staff category, it's going from 13.5 to 12%. So this goes into how they calculate their average salary that they provide to our district for each classified staff that's generated by the prototypical school model, not each staff member we actually have.
Just to clarify, Gina, so if they're taking if that regionalization decreases for us, does that mean it's increasing somewhere else?
No. No.
So they're taking away from certain districts, and then, so that money that they're saving. Really?
That's a big
I would have
picture.
thought that there would have been we're taking from here and we're putting it over there, but they're taking.
No, I think it's measured just the regional, that just made no sense when they developed that as the regionalization was supposed to be for areas that were higher cost of living. But it was not a pure science at all. And then they just were arbitrarily stepping it down. Our cost of living is not decreasing.
No.
So it doesn't align. And they've done some resetting, but we did not fall on the higher end for the classified staff part. We stayed relatively whole on the certificated side because of qualifying for higher education, or a high number of our teachers having higher levels of education and experience.
Okay.
So that allowed us to stay at a higher regionalization level for that portion of the funding that we get as part of the allocation model. So that doesn't, yeah, translate to exactly, yeah. It's a lot, yeah. Bottom line is they are reducing our state funding. And that is not helping us. Then our expenditure estimates, you of course already know that you approved the January enrollment numbers that we would use to figure out what we believe our staffing needs to be at. And we're working really hard with HR, with the calculations of all the salaries and benefits for all the staff that we have. And doing some extensive analysis of that, looking at the accuracy, looking at completeness, looking at who's in which program, balancing that against the grant revenues that we will receive in that program. So we're still doing a lot of work with that before we can begin to upload it into that document that I spoke of, the F-195. So and then we have our enrollment estimates for 4-year budget and enrollment forecast that I will show you next on the next slide. So this is the enrollment figures that I will use for the 4-year forecast. And it's certainly subject to change every year. It doesn't lock us in on anything, but it does give a signal or a picture of where we might be with regard to using these figures and using those in our enrollment forecast, our revenue forecast. So the gray column on the left is the enrollment that was approved by the board in January. And then we've stayed very conservative in the following year, just mostly rolling up into the next year, not having growth next year based on how that worked. And then very conservative growth. Pretty flat. If we're at about 1%, that's pretty much a flat, considered a flat enrollment, even though it does represent some growth. Very slight. So I will be plugging those numbers in and working with those revenue estimates to see how that affects things. I did do a little bit of that on the next slide so that you could get a precursor glance of what it's looking like with working forecast for 24-25, that middle column. And then working forecast for 25-26, that far right column. And with our fund balance going in the correct direction as well. And living within our means, revenues, and with revenues and expenditures, where expenditures are not exceeding revenues.
Makes us feel good.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so that includes on the revenues, the regionalization decline. It includes the sped cap adjustment. It includes you doing IPD at a 3.7% on the revenue side. What we think we're getting from the state. There's still a lot more fine tuning to go on the federal allocations. We don't have all those figures or know those for sure yet, but we've estimated just a little bit of more. Usually we get a little bit more for, especially if our poverty percentage as a whole for the district increases a little, and it did. And for the expenditures, it's adjusted based on a rough calculation of the salaries from 23-24. We increased it by IPD, and it's very rough calculation still. This figure, it doesn't include the roll-ups of staff going to a higher step on the salary schedule and that type of thing. So we are still working on that, and that also assumes that we're reducing by 2.8 million to arrive at the cost of expenditures shown there for 24-25. So next slide is going back through the budget development timelines, where we are. April 22 is today, and our next agenda item is to talk about a final board resolution for a reduced education program. And then the next major deadline in the process is May 15 if we are needing to reduce
staff by reduction in force, then that deadline is important, the May 15, because staff have to be notified in writing by May 15. And you'll hear me say this repeatedly, so these deadlines will become part of your repertoire of knowledge. And July 8th is the budget draft. July 10, we'll post it to the website. And August 12th, budget hearing and proposal for adoption. Next slide is just showing the annual budget cycle in a kind of a graph format, or not a graph, but you know.
Sure.
Yes. And it really just says that we are constantly in a budgeting area. And we're never done, it feels like. But where we are right now in the spring budget development, and with I put a little green star on the lower left rectangle, reduced education program. So that's what will be next that we will talk about as an agenda item. And the next slide is questions.
I don't remember which slide it is. I keep hearing about a projected 100 student enrollment next year.
Oh, that's for this year.
That's for this year. So it's not the
Yeah.
24-25 year? Okay,
No.
never mind.
Projection though is 30 that the board approved, but it'll probably be close. I believe it'll be higher. than 30.
It's conservative, we offer.
Right, which is good. It's more, it'll help us.
Does our student advisor have any questions about budget for next year? Any other questions? Okay. Hearing no questions, we can move on to the next item on our agenda. It's our adoption of resolution 2403, 2024-2025 reduced educational program.
So, I went through this on the 16th, but I will repeat what I spoke of, and it reiterates it for our board, but also for the public in our community if they're listening as well. We do not have assured financial resources to maintain our programs and services at the present levels, and where it's necessary to make reductions in the district's educational program for 24-25. And many school districts across Washington state are experiencing these challenges, similar to what we are. And they'll be making adjustments in the current fiscal year, or will be making adjustments in the next fiscal year due to similar situations as what we're experiencing. And those primary issues are inflation, which is not only causing higher costs for goods and services, but also for staffing costs that are increasing with the anticipated cost of living increases, and then negotiated salary increases across multiple labor groups. Exhaustion of pandemic-induced federal and state aid, those were non-recurring funds. Enrollment declines that have not recovered to pre-pandemic levels. We are increasing, we are coming back up to it, but we're not there yet. Maintenance of higher staffing levels during and directly after the pandemic, as schools were directly tasked with mitigating impacts of the pandemic and taking measures to accelerate student learning. And then use of one-time excess fund balance and minimum reserves during the 22-23 year and the 23-24 year. And then finally, the state's funding model that continues to lead to funding gaps. Specific to the state's funding model, its challenges are including that regionalization factor I talked about, and continued state underfunding of the true costs of education, special education especially, and then staffing costs that are outside the prototypical school funding model. And then with previous presentations to the board about financial highlights, talked about needing to do these reductions, projections and estimates for 24-25 revenues. We're continually compiling those and updating them under changing circumstances. So decisions must be made at this juncture so that appropriate preparations can be made with the goal of achieving the balanced budget. And with the uncertainty of these matters, the present range of potential reductions is 2.8 million as it's being presented as part of the resolution. So before we switch the screen over to talk about the plan, I'll just go through the resolution again and say exactly what that really is.
It describes the purpose as it's the official marker that the district is making reductions. The third paragraph talks about all the financial conditions I just talked about. The fourth paragraph states it's necessary to make reductions, and it talks about reducing staff. And finally, in the be it resolved section down lower, item number 2, it authorizes the superintendent to take action. And that action is as may be required by law or collective bargaining agreements or board policy. And the keynote on that is when we're reducing positions, we must do it timely so that employees can be appropriately notified. And the state law, like we talked about, says they have to be notified by May 15th in writing. So approval of a reduced education program resolution today helps ensure that employees can be notified. And then switching to the plan. Here is a summarized plan for potential budget savings, reductions, or increased revenues. These are not easy changes. We recognize these are going to be difficult for our system. And we're doing an official reduced education program plan resolution so that we have the authority to, if we must, non-renew or reduce in force through a layoff process. We've noted in our plan, and we talked about this before, that we're trying to achieve the majority of that, if not all, through attrition. And that we are very close on that. So as the board's looking over that, I'll repeat again that the Budget Advisory Task Force that was formed in 22-23 has continued to meet during the 23-24 fiscal year. The members are comprised of community, staff, parents, students, and we've had many meetings with our leadership team as well. And all of these have informed the decision-making process and continues to shape our decisions along the way. This is the second reading of this resolution and plan, and we looked at together during the April 16 board meeting. Today's review is proposed for adoption. Other questions?
I don't hear any questions. Thank you, Gina. This is one of the things for our student advisors to vote on. So Nathan, I'm going to ask you how you would vote for your official student advisory vote on this adoption of the resolution 2403, 24-25 reduced education. How would you vote?
Obviously, Gina and so many other people have spent the time to really delve into all the necessary items that we have to cut down on. It's really hard decisions. As a student, it's easy to say, oh, okay, so we just have to like cut down on money. But a lot of this is people losing income. It's programs that we have to stop putting money towards. But we have to kind of do what we need to do as a district, and it'll keep moving forward eventually. So as for now, I have to put my faith in our doing that, like we'll succeed. So I'd say yes to this resolution.
Thank you for your thoughtful comments and your advisory vote. We appreciate it. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution 2403 reduced educational program for 24-25?
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution 2403 adoption 24-25 reduced education program.
Second.
Thank you, Director Kelly and Director Kingman for your motion and the second. Madam Clerk, can you vote?
Director Diamond.
Aye.
Director Kelly.
Aye.
Director Kingman.
Aye.
President Levesque.
Aye.
Director Bam.
Aye. Thank you. The motion is approved. The resolution is approved. I want to say thank you, Gina, for all your hard work and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Over you. All the work and the diligence and the budget task force and all the comments and all of the creativity amongst the leaders. We appreciate. I know this is hard. Thank you.
I'll be done.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is our first reading and adoption of board policy 1400, meeting conduct, order, fitness, and quorum. Dr. Sweeting.
And this is pretty just simple, very basic, but in the 1400 policy, it lays out when we will meet, when we will have regular meetings and when we would have study sessions. And it came to my attention as we were planning different content for the study sessions, and I shared this also with the board president, that we don't have a study session in July, but it seems to be in June, the study session is really focused on the celebration of our retirees. So we do need to have some time to kind of work on some things and to study together. So this is just, it said in here where you see the red part, it just said that the study sessions would take place except during the months of July and August. Well, I'd like to strike July because we want to have one in July. We can also cancel if we don't need it, but I'd like to have one. And then it's August, is when the board, I wanted to make it clear, that's when we have our full day workshop instead of a study. So it's just clarifying language. And this is first reading, so I would hope that we would approve it as the next. No, it's first reading and adoption.
And what it brings.
Oh, we're gonna do that. Okay, I guess we'd like to do it all at once, because it's so simple too.
Is there any other changes that anyone would like to make? And can you remind us of the date of that 1 August study session? Do we have it?
Usually it's a Monday.
The full day, all day,
In
the day we
August.
take off from work day.
Hang on, I would get it.
You probably don't.
So I have to take PTO that day, so it'd be nice to know when it is.
It is August 19th. It's Monday, August 19th.
Thank you.
Okay, any motion to approve board policy 1400?
This is first reading though.
We're gonna, I would,
It's first reading and second reading, all mixed together.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, I make a motion to pass the first reading, second reading of adoption of board policy 1400, meeting conduct, order of business and quorum.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded by Director Kelly and Director Knapp to approve board policy 1400.
Director Diamond,
Yes.
Director Kelly,
Aye.
Director Kingman.
Aye.
President Burnett.
Aye.
Director Knapp.
Yes.
Thank you. Usually
Thank
like second reading, but this time we took, yeah, well, sometimes we extra that. Next up, the last item of our new business portion of our meetings is our second reading and adoption of board policy 3420, anaphylaxis prevention and response. Welcome, Dave McKellar, our Director of Special Education.
We are at our second reading, and there was just the only question that was brought up the last time was about designated school locations, and we had the support of Marilee Herman telling us, of course, why that's probably just to leave it a little more broad, just so a school bus becomes a school location, events become school location. So that was the only question that came up last week. Are there any questions for this policy?
I did have one more question.
Oh, good.
How many, the first sentence, the district will maintain a designated school locations, a supply of epinephrine auto injectors based on the number of students enrolled at the school. So like, what's the ratio? I guess.
Well, if I could phone a friend, yeah, I think the most they're gonna have is two.
The most you can have is
School,
two,
I
okay.
believe. There were seven, well, there are 7 schools. I think we talked a little bit, I had the numbers in front of me
Yeah,
last time.
I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
smaller dosage for smaller kiddos, but then the larger
Okay.
kiddos have one. So I don't think that any more than 2 would be on hand.
Thank you.
And again, they've been ordered, we're just waiting for them to arrive. And if you'd like training, let me know and we can set that up.
I think we all watched that Facebook video where we were.
I know how to do it. But
Oh, yeah, right here, right, yeah, that's very.
Looks lovely. This is another one that has a student advisory vote. Do we have any questions? Before we,
Yeah.
No questions. It's great though.
so Nathan, how would you vote for this policy? All right, do we have a motion to approve, board policy 3420?
Motion to approve board policy 3420.
That's like,
It's been moved by Director Diamond and seconded by Director Kelly to approve board policy 3420 anaphylaxis prevention and. Madam Clerk. Director Diamond.
Yay.
Director Kelly.
aye.
Director Kingman.
Yay.
President Lynette. Yay.
Yay.
Am I the only yay? Yay? Aye.
Aye.
What vowel were we doing, folks?
That's why I did that.
Thank you for all your participation, and we are done with our new business portion of our meeting. We'll move on to our informational items. We'll start with Dr. Sweeting with our superintendent's report. So first, I'd like to say happy birthday to Director Nat. To honor her birthday tonight. And then I will say that this week is across the district. We are hopefully spoiling in every corner all of our administrative assistants, our staff that really, do everything for us to actually make us look good, be organized and all these kinds of things. So, and work so hard. So just they're being honored, and we thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Brenda, for being our support. We appreciate you so much. And then last week we had our spring staff voices at President's, the first session, and there were more people that came to that one than the one in the fall, so that was very good. And there was very honest and genuine conversation about things that are working, but things that need improving as well, and then ideas for the future. Next week, we have one next week. It's going to be, or this week, we have one at Transportation tomorrow at 5:15. And then we have two next week, one at the Arlington High School at 3:15 and one at Haller Middle School at 3:15. The high school is on the 29th and Haller is on the 30th. So they're great opportunity for staff to come, any staff member to come and share what's working, what needs improving, and what would they like to see for the future, what ideas, what suggestions. So, and thank you, Director Knapp, for coming. I hope others can join us at some point. So that's all I have. Thank you. Next up, we'll have our legislative update and discussion. Director Kelly, anything to share?
Nothing really to share. I think that Marissa, who's our contact from WASDA, I think she's going to more of a model where they're doing it obviously at lunchtime in the middle of the week. I happen to be on spring break, so I attended the last meeting. I think they're monthly, so it just sort of catch can. I will give my 2 cents though and encourage evening ones again when I can. It's hard. There's what's the sweet spot between other boards having their meetings in the evening and then other people like myself who are employed during the middle of the day cannot attend. So I like those meetings. Just it's nice to get in touch with other ledge reps. But no, nothing really. It's kind of a quiet time. And as I've expressed before, it's really important to make use of these months between, let's say, May and September, before we kick into fall, and we're busy as we ramp up a new school year. But I think that's a really key time to continue to reach out to our legislators and let them know why they should care about our needs and our students. So I applaud the crew here at the Arlington District for making that very noticeable effort. And I myself am building those relationships, and I like that Dr. Sweeting and your team have done that because it will make the difference. It will. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have our comments from board members. Student Advisor Nichols, do you have any comments or things you'd like to share tonight?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go with the Flight Jazz Choir down to California. Competed in the Fullerton Jazz Festival. Overall, it was a great experience. It was my second year attending, and every year you get to meet not only like-minded people, as students, but also you get to just share moments of like humanity and get to have genuine interactions with people about something that you're both passionate about. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If a student wants to succeed and if a student really wants to push themselves and grow as a person, you need to be involved. I'm very grateful that I have the opportunity to be involved in the way that I am.
Sharon. Director Knapp, anything you'd like to share?
Well, thank you for the birthday wishes. It's really great to share my birthday with Earth Day.
That's true.
So you were.
I know, it really is. Go hug a tree. But last week, it was great to attend Staff Voices, and we had our last district community equity team meeting, which I hopped off of early, but I heard that it was pretty amazing. Erin speaking after I left, but I hopped onto another Zoom that was for it was a Native Families workshop, and basically families from all up and down the Washington. It was mostly Western Washington, but there were some from Eastern Washington, just sharing resources about navigating the public school system. So learned quite a bit, and it was really cool to find those connections. So yeah, and then I'll attend all the Staff Voices as long as we don't have a quorum. But I thought it was really great. Really just all the perspectives are so valuable. So yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you, Director Diamond, anything you'd like to share?
I would like to attend more of this stuff, but I know because like you were saying, the times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how often, how soon out are the days scheduled? Is it at the beginning of the year, you're like, we're having it in April?
You
Or is
kind of
it-
know, yeah, Gina.
We tried to, I changed up the spring one because it wasn't well attended in the fall, so we
Okay.
changed it up a bit. This seems to be working, I just want there to be people and conversation, so we could get the date set for next year, and you'll know well in advance.
Yeah, you definitely have a nice calendar. It's not a good calendar, so it's helpful.
Thank you, Director Diamond. Director Kelly, anything else you'd like to add?
No, Lakewood has a levy passed tomorrow.
Yeah.
Two levies, we're hoping for one. I had Mr. Clyde Shavers come up and talk to Dr. Murphy and the principal at the middle school. So he understands the need, and it's really close, but I had to one of the staff in that this program, so we're just double crossing tonight. But other than that, all is good. I think it's 37 days now. But we're not counting.
Coming to school.
We're not counting. No, we're not counting.
Director Kingman, anything you'd like to add?
I really enjoyed tonight's Fitfolio Friday.
Oh, yes.
So
I'm
great.
disappointed they didn't bring the hula hoop.
And you would have, it's
I would-
signed up.
You could have done.
I would have if they bought one.
Well, there's an activity for
I-
our meeting.
I have nothing else. Thanks.
Signed up.
Thank you, Director Kingman. I want to say also happy birthday to Erica. It's a special time that you get to spend with us on your birthday. So great. Wouldn't you not want to hang around?
We should say happy birthday to you because you were gone.
Oh,
yeah,
happy birthday, Mary.
Let's do that.
Ask your.
After the meeting, maybe, if you want to stick around. But I want to say thank you to everybody who presented, and all the hard work that went into making tonight's meeting a magical, meeting. Thank you for all the connections and communications and collaborations and
A lot of work on.
choreography that happened in this building, to make tonight really a special night. Thank you. It was very positive and very heartwarming. Wonderful to share kind, good words with kind, good people. And we should do more of that in the world. I want to say thank you to Director Knapp for running the meeting last week.
Yes.
I know that probably wasn't super exciting, but thank you. You did a great job. I watched it on YouTube later. So equally entertaining to watch YouTube.
Like and subscribe.
And so I want to remind everybody that we have the next meeting coming up on Monday, May 13th at 6 p.m. right here in the boardroom. And if there's nothing else on the agenda, then we could have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Director Kelly and seconded by Director Kingman to adjourn the meeting. Madam Clerk, can we take a vote? Director Diamond?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Aye.
Director Kingman?
Aye.
President Levesque? Yes. Director Knapp?
Yes.
Meeting is adjourned. Drive safe, everybody. Have a great.